Patriots that he has a tendency to know how to make adjustments after the Patriots adjust. Now, for more on New England, let's go to Mike Giardi.
Thank you, James. There was a moment during Sunday's loss to the Houston Texans where Tom Brady and his offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, were pictured, and Brady was saying to McDaniels, "I'm done with him," apparently referencing wide receiver Philip Dorsett, who had run a wrong route. Now, this is heat of the moment. Cameras trained on you, things will happen. But Brady was asked about it during his interview on WEEI Monday morning, and he said, "I would never go that way. I would never even think that way. It's crazy to me." He said, "I love playing with Philip. I love playing with rookie wide receiver N'Keal Harry. They're doing the best they can." Of course, the Patriots know they need to do better going forward. It has been an uneven offense for the better part of the season. Kay, back to you.
He said that.
It certainly has. I cannot wait for this game. Also, I can't wait for our next guest. I'd like to introduce everyone out there watching to the debut of one of the brightest minds in the sport, a data scientist. Data, tomato, pro football focus. We all know and love it. Please welcome, coming to us live from Cincinnati, George Chahrouri.
Yeah, what's up, George?
Thanks for joining us on the show,
job.
George. So you just heard that.
Guys?
Yeah, I know. I was like, gold star. Got the last name right. You just heard Mike Giardi talking about this offense. We've heard and saw a frustrated Tom Brady after the loss to the Texans on Sunday night. I feel like this is the time of year we just pencil in New England for the AFC Championship game. Are they vulnerable?
They're as vulnerable as a 10-2 team is going to be, and I think that's what we have to remember. There are a lot of 10-2 teams out here who are having the best season they've ever had in recent memory, right? And the Patriots are 10-2, and they're struggling. I think this Patriots team is better than the Patriots team at this same point in the season last year. They had just lost to the Titans. They were about to lose to the Dolphins and the Steelers. Look, it hasn't been perfect, but Tom Brady's still a top 10 graded quarterback. He's suffered the second most drops. He's had to throw away the ball a lot more than he has wanted to because the pass protection hasn't been perfect. But we know the Patriots, they are going to get themselves primed for the right point in the season. There's a preponderance of evidence that tells you there's nothing to be worried about. And I would still say when we run our simulations later today, they're going to be the odds-on favorite to make the Super Bowl.
Wow. And George, we look at the NFC, it's a lot more wide open. If the Patriots are the odds-on favorite because they're experienced, the NFC, we don't know who to pick right now. And last night the Seahawks made a statement. The 2 seed if the playoffs were to start today, but are they the 1? Are they the 4? Are they the 5? Where do you have them in the NFC with all those powerhouses you've got in that conference?
They're so unique because those other teams are very well-rounded. The Seahawks are a pretty average team with an incredible quarterback, right? Kind of like the Chiefs last year. And we know that a great quarterback can take you pretty far. But think about this. The other 10-2 teams, they're all 1 through 4 in terms of number of offensive plays run when trailing. They don't trail very often. The Seahawks have 200 more offensive plays run when trailing. Russell Wilson has been the best graded quarterback when trailing, but that's not something you want to do continuously, right? You want to play from ahead. So while I think they are just as good as the Saints and the Niners for different reasons, and they are now the odds-on favorite to get the NFC West championship and play at home, look, you cannot keep tempting fate. Pete Carroll has not wanted to go for 4th and shorts in games that are decided by 1 score, which they've played 10 of so far. You've got to be able to put the odds in your favor. It's almost like taking a 5-star chef and having him deliver dishes to different tables, right? You want to let Russ cook. You want to put him in the kitchen. You want to give him an opportunity to make plays. And if they can do that, unlike they did in Dallas last year in the playoffs, obviously you never want to play this team.
All right, George. Now, speaking of cooking, here's some teams that have been serving up some wins. Now, many looked at the game between the 49ers and the Ravens as a potential Super Bowl 54 preview. Now, even though things have shifted in the NFC West, would you make these guys the respective conference favorites? And what would you think would be the result if these guys met again?
It's tough because now the Niners are looking like they're going to have to go on the road, and albeit they might get to play an NFC East team on the road, which is debatable how tough that is going to be, but it's still a harder road to the Super Bowl. So I wouldn't make them the favorite just because they have to go to Seattle, and then they likely have to go on the road to play in the Super Bowl. And I think the Ravens are right there neck and neck with the New England Patriots in terms of their likelihood of making it. They've got home field, but we know a little bit less about them at this point, so those things kind of even out. The Niners showed me more in that game. They were the better offensive team. It came down to a couple of 4th down plays. The Ravens got theirs at home and, some awful weather. The Niners did not. But I am not going to, on a 3-point game, all of a sudden proclaim the Ravens to be a drastically better team. If they meet in the Super Bowl in Miami, the Ravens are short favorites, but the Niners are just at that level.
Whew, Chahrouri with the good hair.
Okay.
Data scientist, PFF, thank you so much for joining us. We will chew on all of that. Thanks for breaking it down so I can understand it. We appreciate you. And
Anytime,
we'll talk to
guys.
you
Thank you.
down the line. Yeah, of course. More Good Morning Football on the way.